There is your notice that this meeting is being live streamed. Welcome, everybody. Great to see your faces, or smiling faces and creative backgrounds or real backgrounds. Appreciate you being here. This week, Brandon Harrison is going to lead us out and discuss what's happening for week 3. So, Brandon, the floor is yours.
Awesome. Thank you. Had to close my door because our office is full of people right now. So share my screen right here. Move the pictures of people. Wrong button. Slideshow. There we go. All right, week 3. Hopefully it's been a good couple of weeks for us coming into this course, and that you're trying to see that the course isn't that bad. Hopefully that there's lots of good things in store for you as we continue the next 10 weeks or so through this course, and looking forward to the other great things you have to offer. As we start, I like either some quote or some joke, but with stocks the way they are right now, I hope to be a billionaire someday because I'm going to invest in chicken, beef, and vegetable. So there we go. Thank you. Okay.
That is the definition of a dad joke. Right?
Thank you. Yes, dad joke right there. All right. So questions, comments, concerns, or any good jokes from anybody before we jump into this week's content?
I have a joke.
Let's hear it.
Why did the snowplow ask for a raise?
Why did the snowplow ask for a raise? I don't know why.
He was barely scraping by.
I like that. That's a good one. Thank you. All right. Anybody else? Anything you want to questions or comments or jokes?
I think in the future, if we have people present jokes, we need to have everyone turn their mic on first. It's rough. It's a rough room, man. If it's just crickets. So.
That's true.
I was laughing. Good one, Gerald. I like that one.
I won't quit my day job.
Probably was.
Awesome. Well, if you have questions or anything, please reach out to the instructor during the week or in the chat this evening as we get going, or just unmute your mic and just interrupt. That's fine also. This week, just want to, if you don't know this document yet, please get this document. This is valuable in helping you kind of keep track of what's going on in this course and assignments and different things that you need to do. So the link is here. If you haven't got this, please grab it and just keep it close by so you can be on top of things as we get going. So I want to start with the end in mind, backwards design thinking, right? The technology project, Clint talked about this last week, but just one more time, just letting you know what you need to do with this. But this project is just integrating technology into what you're already doing in your classroom. So it's nothing new you have to really come up with. If you already have a lesson or a unit or a subject that you're working with, just how can you integrate technology-rich learning activities or different things using technology into that, what you're already creating. And there's different parts there. You can go into week 11 and you can read more about those. Thing to look forward to, week 6, you're going to have some goals and plans will be due in that project. So keep that in mind the next couple of weeks, because that will be your assignment for week 6. But I want to just keep bringing this up to you, for you, so you can have it in your mind and be thinking now for what you need to do. Like with implementation, if you're not in the classroom, offer to go into some students, a teacher's classroom, or just offer things that way, or with your own kids at home or neighbors' kids or something, just so you can try to implement what you have created with others, and then try to get some samples and document what's going on that way. And then you will have a presentation of all your work, and then write a reflection paper about your experience to putting this together. So hopefully it's not too stress-inducing for you, and we don't want it to be that way, but we want it to be something that is practical, that you're going to utilize, you're going to use. Don't just do the project, just to check it off for this class, but something that you can actually utilize and use. So keep that in mind as we get going. This week, chapter 2, in the text, communicating learning goals, tracking student progress, and celebrating success, looking at elements 1 through 3. So the reading doesn't always match up with the elements being presented that week. We will catch up to it here and there, but for right now, elements 1 and 3 represented last week. And this week we're doing other ones. Discussion, you're looking at unassisted versus explicit learning. What is that? What is discovery learning? And do you enable students to discover and find their own learning? And how can you help with that? So make sure you get your first discussion posted by Sunday if you can. That gives others a few days to go in and reply to additional peers. And feel free to reply to more than 2. That's great. I think all of us instructors feel that these discussions where so much learning happens and so much insight and sharing takes place in these discussions. You learn more from each other than you can ever learn from us as instructors. So take time to jump in those discussions and really listen and share with your colleagues. And your assignment is your digital classroom poster, and how you're going to create a poster with some representation of technology procedures or routines in your class. So that's the first part of this assignment. What you use to create that could be up to you. Canva, Adobe Creative Cloud Express, Adobe Spark, Google Slides, Drawing, Book Creator, anything else that you want with that, you can create. And it can be as fancy or non-fancy as you like. You just need to do something with that. We have some samples there that you can see what others have done. I had to do one this week actually for our Sora. I had to go teach Sora to some students. So I created just a small, just using a Google Doc. And that's all I used is to create a poster, some procedures of how to sign in to Sora. So something that simple. But feel free your own time to look at those samples or search and find something on your own. So that's part 1 of the assignment is you need to create a poster. And then part 2, you need to share that with students or a colleague, a user test. And after you share that, you need to get feedback from them and then reflect on changes that they suggested or comments that they made about your poster. And so that's the third part of this. So you're creating, you're sharing, and then you're reflecting on the feedback from who you shared it with. And the feedback can be, you can just put that in the text box right in your assignment, or you can put on the bottom of your assignment or somewhere, just make sure that we can see your reflection on your sharing of this project. So if you just submit the project, you won't get all the credit for this assignment. You need to also submit your reflection. So any questions with your assignment this week?
There's a great comment in the chat that Carly Larson just confirmed that you helped her little boy with Sora yesterday. He's watching along and recognized your face. And
well,
so,
that's well, thank you, Mr. Larson.
And then there was a question.
North San Pete yesterday, so nice. She's probably seen that thing I created for yesterday. So
nice.
Thanks, Carly.
And then there was a question in the chat about the project. As a special education teacher, I'm not preparing and teaching units and lessons, but teach on the fly. But on the fly for specific students with what they need. Can I implement this technology project as an incentive type project?
Definitely, I would think so. I would reach out to your specific instructor to talk it through with them to see how that could look. But I think it's something that would be practical for you. Be worthwhile, then yes, definitely.
Yeah, we just want it to be more than an activity or a lesson. It needs to be more in depth, kind of long-term kind of thing.
Definitely.
And then Jessica asked, so after on the poster, after we get feedback, do we edit it and resubmit? Not necessary to resubmit it, but I would edit it if you want to hang it in your class. If you're in my region, let me know if you want to make a poster of it. We can make you a deal on, we've got a large format printer that'll make nice posters. So, but yeah, you don't have to resubmit it, but we do want to have that feedback and reflection.
Yeah, great question. Thank you. After you have your poster created and you're submitted for the assignment, you want to also dump it in your digital portfolio, which you created already. So for the very end, the last week, week 12, we're going to look at your portfolio and want to see all the work you've done during this course. So you could put that in however you want. If you want to have a link specifically for each assignment, or any way you want to set that up, just make sure that this poster does end up in your portfolio before the end of the class. With your portfolio, make sure that your site, if using a Google site, that it is published and public. So you don't want to send the link in the URL box that makes the editable link. You want to make sure you go to after you publish it, and there's going to be a little button next to it to get the actual published link. That's the one you want to share with us and put on the peer review document. So make sure that those who have already posted that link, that it's not the edit link, that is the published public link. That makes sense? I'll do that. Okay. So we will be doing peer reviews of others' portfolios in a month or so. So that's why I want to have that ready now and start putting stuff in that as we go along. So any other questions or anything for this week? The portfolio. All right, I just wanted to touch on a couple of the highlights from your reading, elements 1 through 3. We had a great presentation last year on goals and skills, so that was great. But the chapter talks about declarative learning goals. Students will understand whatever it is, versus procedural learning goals. Students will be able to whatever it is. So it talks about the difference between those. The second element is tracking student success and how you can do that with formative assessment, with observations, students creating their own assessment strategies, and how you can use technology to have students demonstrate their learning, and how you can use technology to chart your student progress. So make sure that you can track somehow your student success in the classroom. And then from that success, is being celebrated. And the chapter talks about these 2 indicators of student success: the current status and knowledge gain, and how that looks. And we want to make sure that we are establishing a classroom culture that celebrates contribution, that celebrates success, that students are feeling the excitement, the joy of when they succeed, or when they reach the next level, or they finish the chapter, or they pass the exam, or whatever it is that they're able to celebrate, and students celebrate with them, and you celebrate with students as well. So just quickly looking at some of the highlights from the first 3 elements from this chapter for this week. Anything up to now with questions or comments? Anything in the chat?
Just a quick question about Google Sites, but Matt's been handling that. Basically, if you, as long as you hit publish on your site, you don't need to, the link's the same. So you don't need to resubmit a link every time you make a change.
Yeah. And going back to Brandon's point, if you forgot to publish it to the web so that everyone can see it, and you get a bounce back from one of our instructors that says, hey, we can't view your website, just go back to your Google site, hit right next to the publish button. You're going to see a person with a plus sign on the bottom part of that menu. When it clicks in, it says publish it so that everyone can see it. So it's really simple to fix that. And then you don't have to resend the link or anything like that.
Yeah, it's just like any Google app. It's just if you make a change, it changes it, and not to resubmit anything. All right, before we jump into the element presentation, a couple of things. If you haven't signed up for an element, make sure you do that. And want to caution everybody, if you are on the document, it is editable by everybody. So make sure that you are careful in what you are typing and not deleting things. We had an instance this week where we went in and the whole document was erased. Be able to get it back, we think, to where it was. So we just want to encourage you to go into the presentation, the element presentation document, make sure that your name is still on the element you signed up for. If you want to make sure that you are where you are and we think we got it back, So thanks, Clint, for catching that before we got too far into things. So that's great. So
I was getting weird questions about it. And I'm like, well, that's good to go. And I went there and there was nothing on the document. So I could see why you'd be confused. You couldn't add anything to it because there wasn't anything there.
yeah. So just
Can I ask a question? Yeah, actually, I just checked my grades and it says that I didn't submit. I'm thinking, okay, I don't know what happened. I was going to ask that. So maybe that's why it's not.
The grade, I'm not going to score those until like week 11. So
No, I know, but it says that it's not submitted. So I don't know. Maybe, I don't know.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
well, on the element
look at the
presentation,
document. Yeah.
once you present your element or when you're presenting, just go into that assignment and just say, I presented element 2B on whatever date it was. So just note down when you presented or what you presented on. And then when we get to that assignment that week, we'll go through and grade it. So
I just put the link to the sign up sheet in the chat. So just follow that up, make sure that your name's on it where you think it's supposed to be. And if not, don't make a big deal out of it. Just pick another one and move along.
All right, we're going to look for our presentation element today. Natalie Johnson. She was the first one who submitted an element for me this week. So she's the one who's going to get presented. So thank you, Natalie. This is your reward for being on top of it. So
My section's 2 for 2.
look at that. All right, so hopefully this works.
Hi, my name's Natalie. I'm here to talk about visual activities. Well, one of the visual activities I use is Canva. You can do a lot of stuff on Canva, create posters, slideshows, you can embed videos, everything. And so here I go. Another one I use is quizzes. So I would start using quizzes maybe as a lesson tool, like this is a lesson tool that you can go through about digital citizenship. I also use it as like an opener, a pre-test, and it gets the kids excited. I get to know what they're doing, what they know, what they don't know. I don't think it's considered a visual, but I use podcasts, and this is a really fun podcast. It's really short, but with the podcast, I use graphic organizers, and I'll share a link. Here is a website with fantastic graphic organizers that you could click and copy and create your own. And here's one that I got from here. Google Draw is perfect. You could do so much. I'm a digital art teacher. I use Google Draw a lot. And actually, I created this on Google Draw. It took me a whole week because I was designing a poster or an art competition. And another thing I use, you can also use, let me just go on here, videos. I use Nearpod is really great on Canvas because it embeds the questions right in there. Okay, and those, I'll probably embed that in it. I like open discussions because my students really don't talk that much. And so I also like them to share their artwork or their graphic design programs or whatever through Canvas on the discussion board. So I have them upload it into Canvas and then they will respond. And they also write their artist statements on their assignments.
All right. So thank you, Natalie. Appreciate that. So we encourage you to please jump on and look at the elements. Take you 10 minutes to go through the elements for the week, almost at 2 minutes max per element. There's some great things and great content that your peers are sharing with you. So you're not being graded on watching them. We don't know if you will or not, but we encourage you to do that. That's just great information coming from your peers and hopefully to help you in what you're doing. Something else in my elements. So is Natalie on? Any questions for Natalie? I don't know if she's on or not with her. I did have a question from a student asking if they should do their element now to create their video and post it, even though they're not for a week later on. That's up to you. You can create your video now if you're not till week 9 or 10. You can create it now. And that way you don't have to worry about it when your week comes.
We've got them due week
Week
6.
6. Okay, so I think it was 6 or 8. I couldn't remember. So at least by week 6, they got to be done. So I'll have them done by week 6. So it gives you another month to procrastinate or not to procrastinate. It's up to you. But you know what you need to do and where it needs to go after you create it. So that's good. So thank you, Natalie, and thanks for the other ones this week who submitted. They have been great. So thank you for that. Some upcoming events to be aware of. Talked about the USEC conference many times. Registration is open. Click on the link there if you are want to go or planning on going or think you want to go. It is a fabulous conference. I understand the USEC board is pretty cool also. So, it's a great conference. It is at the UVCC in Orem or in Provo if you want to attend live, or are some virtual.
Oh, thanks, David. David says he's trying to register for Ed Camp Cut in Richfield, but it says the sales have ended. I thought we changed the date on that, but we'll make sure that that's good to go. So thanks for that feedback.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's what I want to attend, and I'm trying to register for it right now, in fact. So.
Right.
Hopefully by next week, we'll have that fixed up for you, David.
Yeah. And just a quick note on the USEC conference. It is a hybrid conference. So if subs are an issue or you can't make it or whatever else, you can sign up and for reduced cost, attend virtually. And you can attend live virtually, or we'll have a good portion, not the whole conference, but a good portion recorded so that you can watch it after the fact. Still earn credit if you want to, complete the 15 hours for one SU credit. There's a mechanism to get that done. So you can attend in person or in your jammies. So. Oh, Brandon got kicked out. So I will, let me see here. I will pick up the pace for where he was, find the right slides. Give me one moment. This is a trick I learned from Tony. He just kind of keeps talking and make sure that people know what's going on and talking through, and there's no silence and awkward stuff like that. Let me share my screen. And I was going to kind of take control anyway, because I am going to be not available. So my apologies to my section. As of Wednesday next week, I'm going to be gone and unavailable for most of February. I've been reading your discussions last week on balancing screen time with in-person time and getting out into the outdoors. So I'm taking this 2 years of COVID that I've built up with all this screen time, and I'm gonna decompress. I'm actually going to this place right here. This is it's actually Maui, Hawaii, and so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lean on my co-instructors. If you have questions, if you have issues, if you need some help, please reach out to them first for a speedy reply. If not, my cell phone number is there. And if you need to text me a question or something, I may not get back to you right away, but that invitation is there. Please don't abuse it. But yeah, I'm not going to be out of touch, but I won't be grading stuff. So march on and soldier on and reach out to your fellow and to my fellow instructors if there are any questions. So I think that's it. Are there any other questions on the conferences or anything that we covered this week?
There's one in the chat, Clint. If they attend USET virtually and review it later, is that still considered attending a required conference?
Yep.
Perfect.
That should work.
Thank you.
Yeah, we do have, like I said, we've got some great keynotes, and they'll be live streamed. We'll have some spotlight sessions, things that we think will be popular. We will make sure that those are recorded and streamed. And then as well, our what we call over the shoulder sessions. So those are 20-minute, quick little introductions or bites on a wide array of items, and we'll have all those recorded and streamed as well. So.
And we had one other question too. What type of credit do you get for attending the conference?
So you can choose if you want to go the free route. USB credit is available. If you want it on a transcript and get 5,000 level credit, that's a $21 charge, I believe, to go through SUU. And there'll be all kinds of information and credit forms and stuff like that. Basically, you're going to watch the keynotes. You're going to pick about 13 other sessions to watch, take notes on, and then you just submit one PDF document with which sessions you attended and the notes you took and stuff like that.
And we're going to have some amazing sessions. Clint and I and the rest of the board went through it about 2 weeks ago and sent out everyone's, hey, you're in acceptance letters. And there are some ones that if I weren't so busy at the conference, I would be right in those seats because they're just fantastic. So if you have the time virtually, or if you can get there face-to-face, we'd love to have you. It's going to be a fantastic conference here in about 8 weeks, Clint, something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Don't remind me.
I know
it's probably closer to 6 than 8, but yeah, coming up soon. Gerald, I'm spending 3 days over in Hana. When we first get there, we're driving straight out to just totally get away from it all, and then the rest of the time we'll be staying in Kihei. So, looking forward to it.
We do have a question from Amanda about SUU credit as well at the bottom. Do you have to get SUU credit for the conference to count towards the required conference, or if you're seeking the credit for the endorsement?
Nope. You don't have to it doesn't have to be on your transcript to count for the endorsement, at least if you're taking it through me. Good question. Any other questions?
Send a photo. Send a photo.
Oh, well, I'll be sure to send some photos for you. I'm good at rubbing it in, you know.
I was just there in September. It's a great place, both
Oh,
places.
good. Yeah,
Stayed in
it's
Kihei and went to Hana as well.
very good.
Go to Black Beach for sure. Get a reservation for that one. Black Beach.
Yeah, we've got our, Wayapanapa. We got our reservations.
Yep.
We're good to go.